Hi,
Hello, Jess. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
It's Monday, so I don't want to be too optimistic, but I'm here.
Tell us what your word of the episode is. What are you feeling most present to?
I think I'm going with connection today because I'm connecting with Nikki and I'm excited to do so. And so that is what I'm feeling at the moment is just new connection.
Oh, I like that. I am feeling energetic today. And like you said, we are filming this on a Monday, which is different for us. I feel a little extra energy. I may have also had way too much coffee for today, but that's okay. We are
Oh,
going to make it. We're going to make it through this. Nikki, what's your word of the day? What are you feeling?
I- I'm feeling balanced. I'm just feeling like I'm managing things well at the moment and I'm not where I want to be in a lot of spaces, but I'm enjoying the balance of getting there without extremes and it feels good.
I love that.
That's a really good one. I feel like we should just end the episode now. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Everyone,
We can just,
everyone meet Nikki Polos. Nikki, I know you because of Workout Worthy, which you came to me a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago now, and you were very interested in expanding Workout Worthy, your business, into other platforms and avenues to be able to support women who really are looking for consistency and not extremes. But I don't want to take all of the fun. I want to let you introduce yourself. So Nikki, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am a fitness professional. I've been certified since the 90s. My degree is in exercise physiology, and I've just always loved the science behind looking, feeling, and functioning your best. I was a synchronized swimmer, so I actually started in water aerobics, then land aerobics, then personal training, and then the business side of it really intrigued me. So I worked in commercial fitness. Then my husband and I started our own small independent health club. It turned into a little bit of a chain. We had 5 locations. We are in the state of New York, and COVID was not kind to us here, but we survived and we built back up. That business has since been acquired by a larger entity, and we stepped outside of the commercial space. So I've been doing virtual fitness exclusively for the past year and a half. And that's where Jessica and I met. And just because I had been so used to brick and mortar, I had been so used to advertising to everyone, no matter the age, the gender. Like if you lived within a 3 to 5 mile ring, you were my target market. And the internet is not like that at all. So Jessica's been helping me kind of navigate that. Virtual fitness, coaching clients, providing workouts, and I missed the human interaction. So Workout Worthy is still my brand. It's still my company, but I did go back. I opened a small, 800 square foot group fitness studio to get that human connection and human interaction back into my life because I definitely suffered physically and mentally being exclusively in the virtual space. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
kind of want to go back and change my word to resilient. Now that Nikki, I hear your story and sounds like you have that in droves to be able to have those multiple locations, but also dealing with that aftermath of COVID and kind of what it meant for your business, but then transitioning to fully virtual and then still feeling like I'm missing something. So I think resilience and courage are two things that come to mind that highlight what you've just shared for me anyway.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you were able to go from such a large gym facility to essentially your basement where you talked to
Mhm.
strangers online to being back into the live facility again. Like talking about trusting your gut and knowing yourself so well that you're willing to continue to take these big chances in business. Was there any point, our podcast is called Fit and Fluster, so I have to ask this, but was there any point where you got a little flustered with all of these changes that you were doing?
Constantly, constantly. Truly, it was a very hard transition when I stopped teaching in person, just because I had taught group fitness, like I said, since the 90s. So not having that human interaction, not leaving the house. Like I could record any time of day. So instead of having to be at the gym at a certain time ready, I'd look at the clock. Oh, it's noon. I haven't recorded yet. Like I haven't done my workout. I will say it did help. I envisioned class participants when I was recording. That was the only way that I really could do it because that's one challenge of working out at home is whether you're recording yourself working out or whether you are watching a recording and working out is just the distractions, the laundry, the to-do list, the dishes. the in between sets when we take our, active rest, picking up your phone, and then all of a sudden you've been scrolling for 5 minutes in your workout, like, oh, oops, now I got to rewind it, or oh, I'll skip that part. Or even just being like, oh, I don't have to do the last section. I'm done. That was enough for today. Like all of those things are just easier at home. Recording helps a little bit, but it still has that challenge where in person you have that positive peer pressure and you have that accountability. A big thing I've been talking to my class participants lately is when I work out on my own, I tend to go too fast. I just want to get it over and done with. So I teach to the beat of the music, but instead of always doing single tempo, slowing it down, doing a 2 count pace, doing a 3 up, 1 down, 1 up, 3 down. It's harder to do it on your own, but it's important. So it works out better.
I like what you said about positive peer pressure.
My favorite word,
I,
peer pressure.
yeah,
It is real. And there's so much negative peer pressure. There's so much, even, oh, have a glass of wine. Oh, here I made brownies, or like all of this, even meeting. Like my big thing is if we're going to meet up, let's go for a walk. Like, why do we always have to meet up and go eat? Like maybe we eat after the walk, or maybe we eat and then do a digestion walk afterwards, but let's add some activity and some positiveness in our friendships. They don't have to all. So I use positive peer pressure all the time. I love that word. I love that phrase. I love encouraging people to be a positive influence on other people and think of fun, healthy, and even outside of the fitness world, like if it's something that's going to help someone else's business, like be that positive influence, that positive peer pressure instead of like, cut out of work early. It's like, no, like, oh, call off sick today. No, like go do a great job and let's fit it in where it's not going to sabotage your health or your wellness or your success.
I feel like that's one thing we don't talk about enough is positivity, is how we can just be good humans, especially in midlife where everything feels a little overwhelming and like every paper cut is actually a machete to your arm. Like things just feel very large and in charge right now in this midlife zone. And like you saying, hey, start leading with a little bit more positivity and positive peer pressure on those around us, I think is such a great message that we don't hear enough because usually what we hear is we hear a lot of the negativity, right? We hear the extremes. We hear you're not going hard enough, you're not doing enough, you're not being enough. And you coming at this with like a different way of looking at it, I think is really refreshing. How do you help clients lean more into that positivity when the world can be so overbearingly negative?
I think, interestingly enough, I think it almost starts the opposite. One thing I've noticed is so many of us are going through the same things, but we don't talk about it because we don't want to be negative and we don't want to be viewed as negative. And everything, on social media is the highlight reel and everything is so positive when especially in midlife when we're stressing about our children, but also stressing about our parents and stressing about our jobs and our hormones are going crazy and our bodies aren't, working the way they used to and we don't look or feel the way we used to. There is a lot of pressure to put on a brave face and to be fake positive. So I think one thing that I found is just talking about in a safe setting, and again, that's why I love my studio and being with these women in person is because you can open up. And there was one week where every single woman was going through the exact same thing, like the exact same thing. And I'm like, aging parents, worried about their kids, going to college, kids having significant others, like all that stuff that's going on. And the stress with it. So I think just being able to talk about it and to be honest and raw with it to make us not feel like we're alone. Like I thought I was the only one feeling like this. And then I talked to this woman on Monday and this woman on Tuesday and these two women on Wednesday and these sisters, and it was like, okay, everyone is going through this. So we get to not feel so isolated, not feel like we're the only ones losing our minds, but not misery loves company, not commiserating about it, but just putting it out there, acknowledging it, accepting it, and then how do we get through it? And I think that's part of how building those relationships work because you're acknowledging the bad, but you're also looking for the good and how to manage the bad and how to make the most of it. Because you can only control what you can control. You can only change what's in your control. So focusing on that, I think is really, really important.
Yeah, I think what just stuck out to me there, Nikki, with you saying that is like having a space to process. Like it's not that you're commiserating, it's that we have to have a way to process before we get to the positive. Like we almost sort of have to like purge it. And also being raw and authentic about where you're at is really important. And it makes me think of the number of times I've been asked, "How are you?" And I've answered by default, "Good," without ever thinking if I really am, or if there was something as an undercurrent that was going on that I didn't feel safe to process, or if I did, I was burdening someone or I was being a complainer. Like, we got to stop that. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to say that you're not okay. So I think what that's what you just highlighted for me is like, wow, I've said I'm good a number of times and I'm not so good. That was a lie. Not intentionally, but because of a fear of like the reaction on the other side or like, oh, she's complaining. No, I'm trying to purge and process.
Yeah, definitely. I think the default is just to say, "Oh, I'm great." I'll put a
Yeah.
smile on, and I think part of it
Hmm.
too is not being able to articulate, like, not knowing exactly why I feel like this,
Hmm.
or why I'm frustrated, or why I have no patience, or why I'm so tired. And being able to talk with women who are going through the same thing is so much more, um, therapeutic and so much more beneficial, than trying to talk to your husband who has absolutely no idea what you're going through
Not a
or what
clue.
you're trying to say, or people that are in different stages. So I think that's really, really helpful thing.
And Nikki, you are quite the high achiever, as we've reviewed over in your bio. And I know that you work with a lot of women who are also of that level and that mentality. What are you finding that yourself or your clients are really going through? Like you mentioned, that's all kind of the same symptoms. What are the ones that you're seeing show up the most?
Honestly, I think it's like stress and anxiety, just being pulled in generational directions with your kids are still dependent on you, but you're now worried about your parents and kind of having to care for them more. I think especially for high achieving, because a lot of the women that I'm talking to, very successful in their whether it's they're raising their families and their careers and what have you, but to be high achieving and to always be on top of your game, to all of a sudden not feeling the same, not recognizing yourself the same, not being as sharp minded, not putting, I think we at this age tend to slow down a little bit and realize, is this really what I want to do? I've always done what I'm supposed to do and I've always done it really, really well. And is that what I want to keep doing? Is it fulfilling me like it was before? So I think that a lot of women go through that at this stage and they kind of reevaluate where their effort should be, what level of exhaustion is worth it anymore. Like, do we bend over backwards for every little thing, or is our accommodation making our lives harder when it doesn't have to? When we could set some more boundaries, when we could say no to more things.
Couple of episodes ago, Erin was talking about this self edit that happens at midlife where you suddenly give yourself permission to be like, no,
No, I'm not doing
no,
that.
no. So I think you
No.
Not
you nailed it
interested.
on the head. Not interested. Yeah, not interested. I think you nailed it. I think
Mhm.
right now too, there is this like, yes, there's a push that we're allowed to say no to things that no longer serve us. But I also feel like we're constantly being fed extremes. You're either working out all the time or you're not working out, or you're eating perfect all the time or you're not eating well at all. And you've done this really amazing job of finding this middle ground of consistency. And I think you do a great job on your social media platforms of talking about that middle space. How do you find that middle ground, Nikki?
I think it's kind of two-part. I think social media is all about extremes, and that's what gets likes and views, and that's what creates controversy and gets people arguing and, gets more watch time or whatever. But it is exhausting and extremes don't work. My philosophy is that how you look, how you feel, how you function is a direct result of your daily routine, not what you do once in a while, not your best day, but thankfully not your worst day either. Like, we're just a sum of all of our choices. And if we can find effective, healthy habits that we enjoy, then they can be maintainable. And that's where you get results. That's where you can not only obtain your goals, but you can maintain your goals. If it's not, and especially in January, we just finished the first quarter. I always tell people, if your January resolution, if your plan, if you can't see yourself doing it in July when you go on vacation, then it's not a long-term solution. Like, we need to be balanced. Like, your workouts need to be enjoyable. Like, they should energize your day, not exhaust your day. And I'm talking to the general person. Like, if you want to be an ultra marathon runner, I'm not talking to you. Like, you need to be extreme and crazy. If you want to be a figure competitor or bodybuilder, I'm not talking to you. But for the average person, I think we were talking, and I'm Nikki in the middle. Like, I don't want to starve myself and be super skinny. I don't want to work out and be super, super massively big. Like, I want to be in the middle. I want to be healthy. If we can find exercises that energize us, if we can focus on food being fuel instead of being restriction, and find a wellness routine that actually enhances our life and doesn't consume it. Like, I don't want a full-time job of what I eat and what I exercise. Those are pieces that should add value to your life. It should make everything you're passionate about and everything you love easier to do and more enjoyable to do, because you feel good and you're fueled to do that. And, it's not sexy. It's not what gets, doesn't go viral, but it's what works. But it's what is enjoyable. We have one life. Like, I don't want to spend it. I have to tell you this story. And I'm so thankful for this experience. It was back, I was coming home from college, and I went up north to visit my little Italian grandma, and she was always hosting. There was always people coming from her church. Like, every time I was there, I don't think I ever didn't meet a new person, because they were just always going to her house. But anyways, she had made cookies, and there was this little old lady, and we're having tea and eating a cookie. I was only 19, so she might have been like 70, but I thought she was 100. My grandma offered us another cookie, and she was like, "Oh, no, I have to lose a couple pounds." And my 19-year-old self sat there, and I was like, this cannot be life. Like, I'm 19. I don't want 80 years to go by and me still worrying about 5 pounds I need to lose. Like, how can we find a place where we're comfortable, we're confident, we look good, and we feel good, but we can maintain it without it being a full-time job?
I love what you said about Nikki in the middle. Like, we've got these, like, there's this road, and there's this ditch of extreme, and there's this ditch of extreme. And really the message is, like, how do we veer away from those two ditches and just kind of like drive our way through the middle and get real clear on what we're willing to tolerate, what it is we enjoy. So we're not white knuckling our way through wellness and paying attention to social media that tells us to white knuckle it. Again, it's okay not to be okay, but to also have that long-term view of, well, I really want to be doing this when I'm 85 years old. When I'm 85, I'm going to have 2 cookies. Like, I'm just going to do that because I don't want to rob myself of that joy. All in all, your philosophy to the general person that you're working with is very much about, like, what is it that you can add to your routine versus what it is you have to take away. And
Yes.
I feel like in the years that I've worked with clients since basically 2003, that has always been the first thing that they think of is, like, I have to take something away. And then they don't stick to it. Why? Because they have muted their joy for the sake of wellness. And that isn't how we become well. It's the middle. It's Nikki in the middle. It's Erin in the middle. It's Jess in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I love Nikki in
it's,
the middle.
yes, I love that middle space. And it really is too, there's not a perfect choice. Like, there's not perfection in our health or our wellness. There's a sliding scale of healthier choices and not healthier choices. And I tell people, can't always, like, people are like, oh, I don't want to deprive myself. Okay, but you can't say yes all the time. There has to be that balance where sometimes I'm going to have dessert, but sometimes I'm not. Like, sometimes I'm going to have a glass of wine, but sometimes I'm not. Like, having that balance gives you the freedom to choose it when you want it, so that you can always have that choice. Where if you're always saying yes to dessert, it's not going to be healthy. You're not going to be in a healthy place.
Right.
And then you're going to have to diet or avoid sugar or what have you. Where if you can enjoy it in moderation and you can understand, this isn't the one and only time I can have dessert. Or I'm going to have, this is another one where people are like, I ate bad today, so I'm going to eat bad the rest of the day. And I love the analogy, like, if you get a flat tire, you're not going to go pop the other 3. Like, no, you deal with that one thing. So if you have pizza for lunch, Don't say, okay, well, now I'm going to go to Cheesecake Factory for dinner and order, like order 5 courses. No, you had pizza for lunch. It's not the end of the world. Have a salad with chicken on it for dinner. Have that balance out and kind of minimize the damage, not as a punishment, but you chose to have that pizza for lunch. What other choice? Like, how can we balance it out without having to go to extremes?
That is such a great point of being able to make choices, right? And ultimately, that's what it comes down to, especially in midlife, is choosing where you're going to put your focus, your energy, and where are you going to put your decisions for your health and wellness. Nikki, what are you over? What are you done with?
I'm done with the extremes on social media. I am done with the bait and switch, the kind of the hooks that try to shock people into extremes. Like, even on a healthy note, like fruit. Like, I cannot tell you how many people, even people I respect, people who are, certified, telling people, oh no, never eat a banana. I'm like, no, like there is no one thing fixes all. Like, it is all a sum of so many different things. There's not one culprit that's awful. Like, to say that you can't eat fruit, or you can't eat after 7 o'clock at night, or you can't, there's nothing you can't do. How can you make it work in the big scheme of things? Like, what give and take do you want? Like, if I'm going to have dessert, then maybe I'm not going to have a cocktail, or I'm going to have a cocktail and then I'm not going to have dessert. I'll have a chocolate martini as my dessert. Like, I'm not going to have a piece of chocolate cake and a chocolate martini. Like, that is just overload. So having the balance and having the right information, that's really what I'm over, is just seeing people online saying something that's so, like, water. Don't drink cold water. It's awful for you. Well, I only like cold water. You're supposed to drink room temperature water, or vice versa. Like, you can have just as many people say one thing as that are going to say the completely opposite thing. And who's right and who's wrong, it doesn't matter. Drink the water, the temperature that works for you. Just stay hydrated. Like, don't worry about it. That really is what I'm over. I don't, in the fitness space, if we're talking about like my fitness pet peeves, is this one workout is going to fix everything. This one exercise is going to fix everything. I try to make reels or show people exercises, and I will say this one exercise and list its benefits. It's not the only exercise. It's not going to fix all your problems, but this one exercise does do this. It'll help improve your posture. It'll help, like, that's real information that I'm trying to get to people. But most of the information online is not like that. It's there to scare you. It's there to sell you something. It's there to point fingers. And it's even like my mom will call me and say, oh, I've been eating cashews and now I know this person said they're horrible for you. And I'm like, just do what works for you.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing, Nikki. Erin,
Yeah.
what are you over? What are you done with?
I think I'm over diet culture dressing up as wellness. I think that's where I'm at. Like, just shut up. Your extremes have no business here, and I don't want to see you anymore. I'm over it.
Love it. I love it. I feel like we're all on the same page. I am also over people saying that foods are bad for you. Therefore, you need to take these pills and or shakes, or right, that's not, it's the don't eat real food. Don't go to the grocery store, buy this supplement from me instead, right? Don't eat spinach, but get AG greens. Like, don't eat fruit like you were mentioning before, but you need
Right.
this vitamin C tablet. You're like, well, what if I just ate real food?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Well, ladies, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you, Nikki,
Yeah.
for being our guest here on Fit and Flustered.
Thank you guys for having me. This was fun. I feel like I could talk to you guys all day.
Absolutely.
We feel the same way. Erin, thank you for being the co-host that is just the best.
Back at you, Jeff.
All right, thanks, listeners, and we'll catch you next time on the next episode.